issues. I personally, my big problem with that is that we are infuriated at political development aid money that is enormous and that takes over. It takes over grassroots action. I hate that, you know, because grassroots action has to survive somehow. And then to survive, it has to be subsidized. I mean, there is no way that grassroots action can survive without some form, one form or another of subsidy. But what happens is that this is an ideal entry point for the European Union, USAID, etc., to go into the grassroots and kind of take it over, give the grassroots to politically inclined big organization like the Rami organization, etc. There are groups of people here who would rather die than display that on their stall, and they all find a place in Soukel Tayeb.
The figs here are the best in the world. You know, if you have tasted the figs.
I know. I wanted to bring some with the get buns. They're gorgeous.
It's just fabulous. It's the best. You know, also apricots.
So it's the distortion of the economic policy in one country that creates a debacle in the farmers of another country.
It's true that in Lebanon the farmers are in a dire situation.
But we are in an even worse situation because of EU agricultural policy and the US agricultural policy. And, everything. What you see. We cannot look only at these issues on the basis of country-to-country exchange. I mean, the price of food as a commodity is not decided by the relationship between Lebanon and Syria. It is decided as a global commodity market. When you have to buy something and cook it, when you have to buy apple from Lebanon, and if you import them from Chile, they are exactly the same price or even cheaper. Then that is, you ask yourself very, very, very important questions. For instance, enrollment in the agriculture universities in the whole world, and in this country specifically, are dismal. But I come from a village that still practices agriculture, and you know, every year when we harvest the wheat, which is not now becoming totally unproductive, we have these big, all the village comes together and they boil the wheat to make the bulgur together. It's one big communal activity and action that brings all the people. And when there is somebody who dies, they all go together and they take turn in digging the tomb. This is part of the things we do together. So when you remove that, but there is another thing that's really critical. Agriculture is a retirement fund. Here and in many other places in the world, c'est une caisse de retraite. People invest in agriculture, and they don't do it. I mean, they don't do it for the immediate time, but they do it for when they are over 70 years old, 65, 70 years old, when they don't have a job anymore, and then they have something they produce so that they are not totally dependent on their children. There is something that keeps them their pride. Urban people do not do that. They become totally dependent on the retirement fund or etc. And those who don't have retirement fund, they become the old. They need hospices, etc., etc. So you go to the village, you see that it is the oldest to practice agriculture. There are two reasons for that. One is that it doesn't make enough money for a young family being built, but the other is that that's what they designed it for. They planted those trees 20 years ago so that they start giving now when they don't have.